each week, we'll take you inside the program with Hard Rockers head coach Charlie Floor. Coach, how's it going this week?
I'm good, Alex. How about yourself?
Doing good. We were just talking about this weather that's moving in and the potential to screw everything up this weekend. How are you? How do you guys kind of adjust for that in your program in a conference that features a lot of weird weather this time of year?
Yeah, living in this area, it's kind of one of those deals where every day the weather can possibly change, and even within a couple hours, weathers can change. So, our kids are pretty resilient. We always try and have Plan B or Plan C, looking at travel and when we need to practice, and potentially moving indoors, or even going a little bit further down the road to practice. So yeah, it can obviously, change our plans, but our kids are pretty resilient. Whatever we end up doing, they're good with, and as long as we're getting the work in we need, then we're pretty happy with. So,
Well, you guys fell to 3-3 overall and 2-2 in the RMAC on Saturday with a 43-20 loss to number 15 Western Colorado. How have you kind of seen your team respond in practice this week after last Saturday's performance?
yeah, our kids have been good. You go back and watch that football game, and we didn't play well in probably two of the three phases, offensively, defensively. Is really proud of the special teams, and they held them to minimal yardage, and we did a good job on the special team side of things. So we have to get back to work, fix the mistakes that were made, and a lot of credit goes to Western Colorado. They're a good football team. They're number 15 in the country for a reason. They're very efficient on the offensive side. Their offense does a very good job of moving the ball, getting the playmakers. And, offensively, we moved the ball up and down the field. We just, kind of had that turnover bug, unfortunately. And, they were able to capitalize on a few of those. And we just weren't able to respond early in the game when we needed to.
How difficult is it to try to crawl out of a hole like you guys were in when you had, 5 turnovers in the first half and you're staring at a 30-point deficit at halftime? How difficult is it to approach the second half of a game like that?
It's difficult, obviously, because everybody, that's all they do is look at the scoreboard all right, there's the score. We're down. We've only got 30 more minutes to play. I maybe took a little different approach. I challenged our captains. I sent our captains in and had them talk to our team right when we got in there. And while I was talking to our staff about things we needed to do, and I was very proud of our 5 captains. They took the initiative. They knew what they needed to fix, and I felt that was really important for our captains to get in there and really challenge our guys and get them ready to go for the second half. Because again, it's not my football team; it's our football team. So, how can our kids respond? And our captains did a great job. And after we made a few adjustments, I went in there and probably reiterated a lot of the same things that they had mentioned. And, again, I'm not into moral victories or anything, but I thought our kids came and competed very well the second half. You look at the scoreboard, we won 13-7 the second half, and they didn't change things offensively, defensively, same personnel, different things. So we just needed to kind of regroup, recharge our batteries a little bit. Our captains did a great job of that. Our staff did a good job of making adjustments, and we played well the second half. So hopefully that momentum can come into this week.
How encouraging was it to see you guys put things together in the second half and finish on a positive note, just knowing that you have another huge test in the conference this week?
It's big, because like you mentioned, we got a tough challenge this week. Western's ranked, but so is Colorado Mines. We're on the road. We know it's going to be a great environment. We have a lot of kids from the state of Colorado that I know are very anxious to get down there and play. And, that's what we needed. We needed to play well that second half to, again, give us momentum coming into this next game. Our preparation's been very good this week. Our kids have really bought into what we're doing. We've kind of changed up what we've done in practice, kind of gotten rid of the monotony of different things. I've thrown a few surprises in at practice, and just really challenged our guys both mentally and physically to be ready for a tough football game.
Is it kind of frustrating to see that turnover bug come back up again after you had 2 good weeks of taking care of the football and it seemed like you really made some progress in that area?
It is, and our quarterback, that's the great thing about Jaden is, there's games that he plays well in and gives all the credit to somebody else. And then you got a game like we had this past Saturday, and he's the one that's going to take, all the blame for it and try and make himself better. And, there's things that we got to fix on offense, things that we had to fix on defense. We had an opportunity to have some turnovers on the other side of the football, but we just weren't able to get them, and whether they were different calls or different things like that, we've got to find a way to, get those back and make plays when we need to.
How impressed were you with those defensive captains in particular in the second half and the way that they stepped up and kind of righted the ship and limited a really explosive team to one second half score?
Yeah, I felt our defense did a great job. We had to make some tweaks in regards to what we were doing, even from a personnel standpoint. And they were great. They responded well. And that's the one thing about our kids. They're resilient. They know we had some mistakes early. We found a way to get things done. They rallied around one another. Knew that we all had to go back to just doing our jobs. Playing as one and not just 10 and one guy not doing his job. So I was proud of those guys, the defensive staff, how they responded and came out and finished the second half.
Obviously, another tough test for you guys this weekend with Colorado School of Mines, the number 2 team in the country, playing in Golden, Colorado at noon on Saturday. How have you kind of approached the preparation this week? I know that you guys believe a lot in routine and doing things the same way, but how do you prepare for a game against a top 5 opponent?
Just really challenging them to, we know who they are. They're very talented. They have a lot of veteran kids back, on both sides of the ball. They're very experienced. They're playing extremely well right now. They're putting up a lot of points on the offensive side, and then defensively, I think they're giving up only 7 points per game within their 4 conference games. And we know it's going to be a tough task, but I went back to last year's film and we talked about last year's, we had them, it was a 21-14 game right before half with like 3 minutes to go before halftime. And then we had a blunder on offense. They went down and scored. We had another blunder on offense. They went down and scored. And within 3 minutes right before halftime, they made it a 34-14 game. And, just try to reiterate how important, every single play is. We were able to compete with them for, essentially a half of football, and it was really close. We have a lot of the same guys back. They have a lot of the same guys back. And it's just getting our kids to believe that if we can play well, we can execute at a high level. We can go in and compete against anybody. And, I think if just the belief system is there, our kids trust the process, knowing we've got to improve from last week to this week, have a great week of practice, go down there, play extremely well on the road. We know we're going to have a good crowd. We have a great alumni base that lives, down in that Denver area. We have 40 kids on our football team that are from the state of Colorado. So, we know a lot of their families are going to be there, as well as some of our redshirts that are going to go back home. So, again, we just got to go and have a great week of preparation, get down there ready to go, and just let our kids compete for a full 60 minutes.
You kind of talked about it, the execution that it requires to beat a good football team. How much does that margin of error kind of decrease with the caliber of opponent that you're playing this weekend?
Yeah, you've got to almost play mistake free. A very assignment sound football. You want to play as perfect as you can, but we all know, their perfection in the game of football is extremely hard, and our kids can't rely on that. We just have to go down and be us. We can't be anybody else. We know the expectations in trying to go down there and play very well against a good football team. So we've got to go down, improve from the mistakes that we made, continue to find a way to maybe get a little luck on our side if we can get a turnover here and there, and get some explosive plays on offense, and really just give our guys an opportunity to be successful. We know our kids are going to play extremely hard, which is probably one of our biggest staples of our program. So I'm excited for our kids to go down and show that we are a good football team. We're going to be able to do a lot of good things against a very good football team down there.
Colorado Mines enters the weekend averaging 45.6 points per game. They're throwing for over 300 yards a game. What's it going to take just to slow down, John Matoka? I can't even pronounce his name. Matoka.
Yep.
Yeah, John Matoka, and what he brings to this club, and try to keep him in check to some degree in the game.
Yeah, that's obviously the biggest challenge. If we had that formula, I think we'd be millionaires, because there's a lot of people that would want that. He's a tough cookie. Been impressed with him. The last 2 times that we've played him, he continues to lead their team. on the offensive side, but even on, just as a full team, you can see him on the sideline, and he's a true leader of their football team, and it's going to be a tough task. We've got to find a way to contain him. He does a good job of picking apart a defense, if they're not putting pressure on him. But, if you put pressure on him, he's able to, make some plays with his feet and just kind of play some backyard football, recess football, whatever you want to call it, and make those plays. So, we've got to find a way to limit their explosives, from a passing game standpoint. Not give them some free possessions on the offensive side. So that's where taking care of the football is going to be really important. We know that they're going to get the football, and if we can get some good key stops and some critical downs, make some plays on offense, and just kind of stay with them, over the course of the game. Again, I think our kids are resilient enough where we can stay with them. So yeah, very happy with our progress, and we know he in particular is going to be tough to contain.
What do you think it is that makes Matoka so successful back there for those guys?
I think a lot of it is he just the comfort level. You look at their roster right now; they have a lot of players that have been there for 4 or 5, if not 6 years, with the COVID year, and those kids have stuck together for a long period of time. Continuity within their football team has been that way for a long period of time. There's kind of the old slogan, "Tradition never graduates," and that hasn't graduated for them, even if they have lost a few other key players. He's pretty cool, calm, and collected with all of his actions, and I think that really trickles down to the rest of the team. They've had 3 head coaches in the last 3 years, and they just seem to keep, going like a well-oiled machine. And they've been able to do that. Again, that's just the staple of their program. Their culture's been set. Their kids know what their expectations are. They don't shy from them. They play in a lot of big games. I give their coaching staff a lot of credit. They're not afraid to go out and play tough people. When you look at their non-conference schedule with Grand Valley and Angelo State, and 2 years ago, or last year, they lost those 2 games. This year, they won those 2 games. And again, it's just the continuity that they have within a football team. Their kids trust one another. They play extremely hard, and they've been very successful doing it.
How rare is it to see a football program maintain that level of success with all of the turnover that they've had over the last
Yeah,
few
it,
years?
it, it is really rare. There's not very many programs that are able to do that, especially this, age in football, with the transfer portal, with guys having the freedom to leave whenever they want. Most of the time, those kids who have been successful, are going to Division 1, or they're transferring or doing whatever. And I think because of their program, their culture, they're very obviously very similar to what we have here academically. The type of degree those kids are going to get after they graduate, knowing that they're probably not going to move on and play at the next level. They're making the best out of their opportunity, and they know they're in a situation to maybe compete for an RMAC championship, and now they're putting themselves in position for even a national title. And I'm sure that's a lot of reason of why a lot of those kids came back, even though they're graduated and probably have an $80,000 to $100,000 job sitting right there in front of them. But the hungry side of them, not winning the national championship last year, wanting to stay and potentially go back and do that. And when you have that culture built within that, it makes your program a lot better. And then it just shows the younger kids of what and how to do things. So that way, again, when they graduate, now their underclassmen are able to step up and kind of see what has been done before them.
Defensively, you mentioned what they've done against RMAC competition. They're only giving up 12.8 points per game overall. They forced a bunch of turnovers, 7 interceptions, and 3 fumbles. How important is it for you guys to take advantage of opportunities early in a game against this kind of opponent?
Yeah, there's no doubt. We're going to have to go down there and start fast, and whether it be if the defense is on the field first, or we're on the field first offensively, we have to find a way to start fast. They haven't trailed in a lot of football games, and so we're going to do our best to do whatever we can to try and put some points on the board early, and put our team in a situation to maybe jump ahead early, maybe get them to pressure a little bit, and see how they respond to some of those things. So from our standpoint, we've got to go down there and start fast, play well in all 3 phases of the game early, try and stay in the game as long as we can, and force them to make mistakes that maybe they're not accustomed to.
How important do you think it is for your program to go out and compete against this caliber of opponent, just as a litmus test, as part of your plan to grow the program? How important is it to have these games? Obviously, this one was a conference game, not a non-conference game, but still important in terms of what you want to build there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and it's just like last week when we played Western Colorado, is we have an opportunity to go up against the top 25 football team, and you go back and look at our whole course this year in regards to our season. We played Truman State very well on the road. It was a 28-24 football game, and we had really the last drive of the game to go down and win that game. They're 6-0 right now, ranked number 19th in the country. We have a tough game last week against a top 25 team in Western Colorado. Don't play well the first half, play well the second half. They're 6-0. They're 15th in the country, and now we have an opportunity to play again another top 25 team that's undefeated on the road. And in order for us to compete to try and be in the top third of our conference, we have to beat one of those two teams. And we have an opportunity this week to go down and play a very good Colorado Mines team. We have to play well in doing it. And it's just proof that, there's a process to everything. We have to stick to our core values and what we want to do. We have to take care of the football. We have to create turnovers. We have to stay out of third and longs as an offense. We have to be able to stop the run, keep the quarterback contained, which against any good quality team, you're going to have to do. So, it's another opportunity for our guys to, play against a very good quality opponent. And if we play well, then it's just going to give our guys a lot of confidence knowing that we can do it within some other bigger games that we may be playing this year.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me. I know you got some other responsibilities today I'll let you get to, but good luck in Golden this week, and we'll catch up next Wednesday.
Sounds great, Alex. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Coach. Take care.